What is going on, people? My name is Andres Garcia and welcome back to another video. And today's topic is about how I was able to succeed in Gen Chem 1 and 2 without having any prior chemistry. Now first, let me tell you about how I got started. I was honestly very nervous to take Gen Chem because I just remember hearing so many horror stories of all these other people who've failed the class and then it just set them back and then they just never pursued medicine after that. I wanted to ensure that I did great in this class, but I didn't really know what to do. So I tried studying in the beginning and I thought I was doing good, but I mean, when I thought I was doing good, I ended up failing the very first exam. I got a 68 on it, and the class average was like almost a 90. And so needless to say, like, I definitely felt like I was way behind everyone else, and the professor even emailed me saying that she would like to talk to me about my grade and what I could do to do better. So that was definitely like the catalyst that made me want to start working a whole lot harder in the class. And it took me a while, but I found now 6 tips that I found that really helped me and that I really wish I could have seen in a video like this way before I started the class. So without further ado, tip number 1 is take practice tests. I cannot stress this enough. Like, practice, practice, practice. Like, that is everything. You can study all you want. Like, you can study all the material and just get that information in your mind, and yeah, that's great. But until you actually put yourself in that testing situation, until you put yourself into that examining situation, you're not gonna really know what it's like, you know, taking those questions and knowing different types of questions and when to use certain equations. And it's basically just getting your feet wet with the material. So what I would do is that I would get all of the practice exams that our professor would upload, and I would go to the library and I would print out a huge stack of papers of practice exams, and then I would just knock these exams out. Whether I knew the answers or not, whether they were right or wrong, I just went for it. And what I did is that I would ended up grading every single one of them, and I would see, alright, what did I know and what did I not know? For the questions that I got right, I would ensure that I knew why they were right. And for the questions that I got wrong, I would make sure that I would find out why they went wrong and what could I do better. If you just repeat this process over and over again and then look back on old practice exams and you just keep looking back, you're just gonna, by the time you get into the exam, you've seen all these questions a million times before, and it's just applying those same concepts to a variety of different questions that'll be on your exams. Tip number 2 is create YouTube playlists. So what I would do is that I would have a YouTube playlist for Gen Chem, and then I would have a YouTube playlist for any of my other classes that I felt like I needed help with. If I didn't understand a certain concept or topic in Gen Chem, I would look it up on YouTube and I would add these topics to my playlist, and I would, you know, just sit in the library, watch these videos, take notes on these videos, and make sure that these videos are relevant to you and your actual chemistry class. But once you do that, review these videos daily, just to ingrain that information into your mind and make sure that you're fully understanding the information and that you're not just passively just watching and listening to these videos. This really helped me organize all the information that we've had to do throughout the semester and put it into different parts with this YouTube playlist. Tip number 3, write a study to-do list. So normally I just do to-do lists every single day for just, you know, little stuff like clean my room, some other chores, but I found that it is hugely beneficial if you guys can start making this to-do list for how to study, you know, what topics to study, what resources to use while you study. Like, here's an example that I would do. So my first bullet would be take all the practice exams that are laid out thus far. My second bullet would be to make a concept map of all the information that we've covered, and then use that concept map to assist yourself in those questions that you got wrong in the practice exams. You know, do all of the homework, and then I would go over and take notes on the parts that you didn't get and try to fully grasp them. And then your fourth bullet would be review all of your YouTube playlists and to see what concepts are you still struggling with. You make this personal to you. Like, that's just an example, and sometimes it fluctuates for myself personally. But I feel like that's another great tool to help me stay organized and to help me just crush it throughout the day. Tip number 4 is condense all of the topics in a specific unit in your chemistry class onto one piece of paper. Now, this is generally referred to as a concept map, which is just condensing all this information, you know, writing down all of the equations, all the formulas, writing down all the principles, writing down all the different definitions, and this really helps you to break down this information. And by making these separate little papers and writing down all the units on it and really breaking it down, you're able to really digest the information and not only learn it in the short term, but it really helps you lock it in long term. I'll put a picture here somewhere of showing you like kind of an example of what I would do for my Gen Chem papers as like a concept map. Tip number 5 to succeeding in Gen Chem is to increase your study volume. Increasing your volume simply means that we're just going to try and pack it in more time every single day, and that's just going to add up over time. So I think everyone is guilty of this, myself included, is that sometimes I've crammed for these exams because I didn't make time to study before. So instead of trying to cram, I would usually try to increase the amount of time that I study throughout the day. So like as soon as a new unit started, I would automatically study the material and make sure that I fully understand it right from the get-go. And I'm not going to waste any time to be like, oh well, I have time to learn this stuff. You know, you have to definitely learn it like you have an exam every single week. Once you adopt that mindset of I have an exam every single week and I'm gonna wake up 2 hours earlier before class just to study, and then while you're actually in class, you're hearing it again, and then you know you're studying after class, like you're just gonna ingrain that information, and that volume is just gonna show, and it's just gonna definitely you're gonna see the results that you want. Which that brings us to tip number 6, which is attend the SI or TA sessions for your chemistry class. I feel like these TA and SI sessions really bring a lot of the information, and they just condense it and make it, you know, to this easy to follow format. And another great thing about it is that it really forces you to sit down for an hour or two and to really study. You know, you're not gonna get procrastinated doing something else. Like, you're there to learn, you're there to study. If you aren't already utilizing these, please do. Like, these resources are amazing, and I dedicate a lot of my success thus far to attending the SI sessions and TA sessions. Like, they are extremely helpful. And if your university doesn't offer SI or TA sessions, I would highly recommend just keep on plugging away. Like, just study on your own. Like, you don't need a tutor to be successful in these classes. A lot of it just takes hard work, but getting a tutor definitely helps break down the information in an easy to follow format, and you may learn the information quicker if you have a tutor. Ultimately, everybody's different in the way that we learn, the way that we study, and I think it's important to find what works for you. Anyways, I hope that these tips helped you and that you guys kill it in Gen Chem. And if you guys found value in this video, could you guys do me a huge favor and smash that like button, and please subscribe? I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, you're gonna kill it, I just know it. Alright, so we'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, peace.